Now, I anticipate the bill that was previously passed will become law, courtesy of Bob Ferguson, some point this week. They're trying to keep secret a bill signing tomorrow and Friday. They're trying to keep that a secret. Sorry. Oops. This is why people don't tell me secrets.
Let the cat out of the bag.
I'm sorry. I should have known, since I did frame it as them trying to keep something a secret, and then I just blurred it all out. My bad. But I imagine he's going to sign this bill into law. And it has to do with something called the Housing and Essential Needs Referral Program. It's also known as HEN. And it was designed to give housing assistance and other items, bus passes, for example, to specific categories of low-income Washingtonians who are otherwise unable to work due to a variety of issues. Maybe they're living with a disability. Maybe they are in a position where, through no fault of their own, they're not able to get or keep a job. Now, the intent seems kind of obvious, right, in something like that. That is a program for a very specific group of people that we're not going to have a debate about welfare programs around. If someone who is severely disabled to the point where they can't work, they literally can't do it, of course we want to help that person. We have, I would argue, a moral responsibility. We don't want that person to become homeless, God forbid. But then Democrats were all like, well, I mean, maybe some of them can afford to become homeless as long as we're helping illegal immigrants. They just opened the door to have the funding get moved over to help illegal immigrants. They amended HEN to give illegal immigrants, to let them receive cash payments, removing from the eligibility the requirements that recipients be, quote, citizens or aliens lawfully admitted for permanent residence or otherwise residing in the United States under color of law. They took that out. They just decided, we don't want that there anymore. Oh, and to make it even more obvious what they're doing, they removed the need to furnish a Social Security number. You no longer have to do that. Now, they say recipients are supposed to be receiving Social Security benefits for some of the programs under HEN, and that would, you would assume, preclude someone who's in this country legally, because it's not like they're getting Social Security benefits, right? Except this one line in the bill, it's administered by the Commerce Department. They say all of that detail is left to the discretion of the Commerce Department. Okay. Now, they did this in the context of, what was it, a $16 billion budget deficit? So they're all like, hey, we don't have that much money, but we're going to earmark some more of it towards illegal immigrants. That's what we're going to do. Granted, we find ourselves in a position like this because, at least in part, we've granted a whole bunch of money to illegal immigrants who are not paying into the system, but we're supposed to pretend that they're paying just as much as a Washington resident in taxes. They just decided, it seems worth it. Now, to be clear, the intent is, in fact, to take funds from Washingtonians. I shouldn't even say that because they're going to assume that an illegal immigrant is a Washingtonian, an actual citizen of Washington and this country. They're not hiding the intent of taking money from them. Because what HEN didn't do, or what the Democrats didn't do with this program, they didn't increase the budget and say, we're giving you an extra X amount of money so that we can now give more funds to people who are in this country illegally. Undocumented Washingtonians. No, they kept the budget exactly the same. It's not like they had a whole bunch of money left over that they're all like, hey, we got more money than we know what to do with. No, I went back and I watched some of the debate around this particular bill, and one of the administrators said, oh, yeah, we don't have nearly enough money to fund to the need of individuals in Washington state. And then you had someone else from the nonpartisan legislative office saying, oh, we're not underfunded. We spent about like 99% of the funds that were allocated. So they are saying we're keeping the budget exactly the same. We're already under budgeted to help the amount of people living with a disability who cannot keep a job. We can't afford to give them funds. We're going to make the program even more expansive so that we can help people in this country illegally, regardless, by the way, of their criminal history, because it's not like they check. And even worse, because you might be saying, man, that's the worst. It can't get any worse than that. Oh, no, it can. They used to look up the eligibility of individuals every 3 months, which makes sense, right? Maybe you no longer need the subsidies, and in a world in which we've got a whole bunch of people who could use it, we don't want to give it to someone who doesn't need it. Well, they changed it from 3 months to 12 months, checking for eligibility, which means, let's just go with my illegal immigrant point here. You could be subject to an order of removal because you committed a crime, and you would be getting subsidies from the state of Washington to stay in your home. Meanwhile, a Washington resident who is not just a citizen but a taxpayer is now in an impossible position to pay for their rent or their mortgage because the fund is out. Now, will Governor Ferguson sign this? 100%. 100% he will sign this. And he'll want to get this over and done. He doesn't want to get into any of the details. Maybe he'll make some sort of comment about how we're helping even more Washingtonians. We will lose this as a Washingtonian listening right now. You are going to lose this battle. As a Republican, you are going to lose this battle. Democrats spent the limited legislative session to fight for illegal immigrants. How much money, billions of dollars, have they committed to illegal immigrants? They went out of their way to ensure that an illegal immigrant can take sick time to go to court to handle their immigration legal fight. They now can jump the line for commutations if you're in this country illegally, also that we can protect someone from being deported. Why might someone need a commutation? Remind me, I forget how the system works.
They committed a crime.
Oh, that's so weird. So they're going to jump ahead so they don't, this is absurd, but also transparent. And the reality is, unless we make better political decisions, unless we boot people from office, this will continue, period. There is nothing that can be done. The same way when we talk about how many more dead kids have to happen before Democrats realize that their policies are dangerous, destructive, tragic, there's no answer. There's no number that will change their minds. Similarly, there's nothing you can say or do. There's no rally you can attend. There's no email you can write in cases around illegal immigrants. Democrats are not going to change their position. So the only thing you can do is change the Democrat. Sometimes that will mean going for a more moderate Democrat, depending on where it is you live. Seattle is never, for example, going to get a Republican representative, not during your lifetime or mine. But we can get maybe a moderate Democrat who isn't insane on these issues. And in other cases, you need to step up and make sure that you're backing the Republican. We had Chad Magendas on the show yesterday. He's running for state senate in the 5th legislative district. That's very, very, very winnable for a Republican. And he's not going to support open border policies that bring illegal immigrants here so that we can embolden them to continue. It's absurd. Why do you have that look on your face?
I was just I don't have any point to make other than when you call them Chad Magendas.
That was a good one. You don't think they're going to call them MAGA Dons?
They probably will.
They 100%
They for sure will now because you gave them the idea.
Oh, darn it. I mean, it is. If I were a consultant on the left, I would label him MAGA Dons, even though he's not like this hardcore conservative Republican.